Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Inside Track, Equibase's weekly handicapping podcast, where we give our analysis, picks, and wagers for a couple of the weekend's top races. I'm your host, Ben Kudla, and today I am joined for the first time in 2025 by the one and only Corey Patton, a stats-driven handicapper, a friendly, familiar face on the Inside Track podcast, and also the CEO and co-founder of Pramana Labs, which creates all the free Statlines handicapping content on Equibase.com. Corey, feels like it's been forever since early December since I've seen you.
I mean, I don't think we've done this since last year, so I'm excited about today. I'm excited about the three races we're going to break down, and as always, pleasure to join.
Oh, absolutely. I know I'm getting just so jazzed up with this Derby Trail coming up. We are 107 days away from the first Saturday in May. You know what I made my fiance do this week, Corey?
Oh, no.
I made her watch the first Saturday in May, arguably one of the greatest horse racing documentaries of all time. I don't know if you've ever seen it. It came out in 2007, but it follows the 2006 Derby Trail with Barbaro, Giselle, brother Derek, Sharp Humor. It gives me the goosebumps every time. Honestly, kind of reinvigorates my love for the sport. So I encourage everybody to watch it. It is on Amazon Prime, free for Prime members. But yeah, anyway, I'm just so excited. So we did pick all three Derby Trail races this week. So today's show will be handicapping the Grade 3 LeComte Stakes and the Silverbulletday Stakes at Fairgrounds and the Busanda Stakes at Aqueduct. So let's just start in order with the Silverbulletday Stakes at Fairgrounds, 1.70 miles on the dirt for 3-year-old fillies. Rode the Kentucky Oaks race worth 20 points to the winner. Last year's winner was West Omaha, who ran by 5 lengths for trainer Brad Cox with Luis Saez aboard. Know who else won this race in the past? I'm a Chatterbox. So that's pretty cool. In 2015 for trainer Larry Jones, went on to finish third in the Oaks with 5 grade stakes wins and 2.3 million in earnings. Kind of an interesting race. We're a little bit different, but who's your play here, Corey?
Well, look, I think
when you 2025 also, by the way.
The very first pick of 2025, so it's got to be good, right? So I looked at the 3 stakes races we broke down this week were 2 at Fairgrounds and 1 at Aqueduct. And of course, being January, you can end up looking at the weather a lot, and it looks unfortunately like Saturday could be a wet event in Fairgrounds, and it could be wet in New York as well. So you have to take that into account when you look at these 3-year-olds and look at the stakes races at the Fairgrounds. And when I looked at this, I said, okay, there's a couple of things. One, I looked at the performance of the rail horse Chasen. That's what I'm going to go with. 4-1. I mean, Brad Cox and Giroux. That's not exactly,
I'm surprised on a 4-1 for that morning line.
Yeah, and I think it'll get hit pretty hard, to be honest with you. But I mean, we'll see. But look, when I looked at it, I went back and I watched the race, and the first thing in the running lines that makes you notice is like this is a coming out of a maiden race, a 7-furlong event at Churchill, and in that race, Chasen just completely misses the break. And the 7-furlong 1-turn race and gets back by about 8 lengths, gets dropped back, and then just climbs and makes up ground, really green into the stretch, and then just kind of, runs away after that and kind of wins convincingly. And if you look at that, you say, okay, well, that's the type of setup that I like for 3-year-old. Got a lot out of that first race. This filly should be much better going into this race. Really just an ultra impressive win in a debut. And Giroux keeps them out, gets the likely fast rail. If they seal it, if the weather is pouring and they seal that track, that rail could be a good place to be. Could be exactly where you want to be, right? And if she breaks with the field this time, might grab the lead, to be honest with you. I don't think there's a ton of speed in here. Might grab the lead and just, never look back. And I'm looking at trying to figure out the pace scenario. And this horse from the rail has as good a shot as any to try to get the lead if she breaks correctly. And so a couple of things. I then looked at the pedigree, because you have to when you have a lightly raced horse at this time in their career. And the mare, obviously, Into Mischief is just fine on an off track and a quality sire of all types of runners. But Lockdown, the mare, was an ultra classy mare. She ran in 6 grade 1 or grade 2 races, placing first or second 4 times. Ran third in the Oaks in 2017, posting that 104 Equibase speed figure. So, the mare has every right to drop a runner that can get the professional distances.
Is this her first foaled race? Do you know?
I did not look that up, unfortunately.
I'm going to have to look that up after the show.
Look that up. I will go look it up after this as well. But and that third in the Oaks by Lockdown back in 2017 was over a sloppy track, had a terrible trip, likely wins with the better trip that day. So relish the track conditions. That portends well for her offspring, in the expected track conditions. And none of the other entrants in here have any off-track experience, so it's really hard to judge. The connections are hard to miss. Cox 41% going sprint to route over the past year. I mean, come on, that number is insane. Brad Cox wins at 30% all time, starting a horse at Fairgrounds that last started at Churchill. So little Pramana stat line there. Cox wins at 37% with 3-year-olds on dirt at Fairgrounds since 2022.
Yeah.
There you go. Cox and Drew are 7 of 17, 41% together in route races the last 45 days, and 2 of 4, 50% together in stakes route races the last 45 days. If she breaks with the field, I think Chasen probably gets the lead and wins this race. Hopefully we get somewhere close to 4-1.
For your take, I hope you get 4-1 as well. I also did look up some more Florent Giroux and Brad Cox stats for you. For the past 3 years, all races at Fairgrounds, they win at 40%, 52 wins from 130 starts, and 77% in the money.
Come on. It's giving away money.
Wild. I did definitely take a look at that horse, and Golden Gamble and California Sunset, they've been kind of running back and forth to each other. I was kind of turned off by that. But the one I really liked is the Simply Joking horse, the number 3 with the morning line of 3-1. I'm hoping year one will take more money, and maybe I'll get the 3-1 or 4-1. But really interesting Pennsylvania bred, practical joke filly for the D. Whitworth Beckman Barn, who's red hot, by the way, winning at 36% in this Fairgrounds meet with 4 wins from 11 starts. Simply Joking broke her maiden that first start and only start of her career in the listed Letelier Stakes here at Fairgrounds on the 21st of December. Ran the highest Equibase speed figure of any runner in here, running a 92 ESF, winning by a neck over 8-5 favorite What a Moon. Mind you, this is after she hit the gate at the start, broke dead last in a 6-furlong race, and was able to obtain her composure. Made a huge move on the final turn, going out to the 5 path and dug in for a stretch duel with What a Moon, prevailed and showed a ton of class. Winning on career debut under Jamie Torres. And speaking of Jamie Torres, back aboard on Saturday, who's been on fire, won 5 of his last 9 starts, 56% Fairgrounds with the $2 ROI, $3.98. There's some stat lines for you. You can find every single race, every single day at Aquibase.com. But Beckman and Torres are winning 29% all time together, 4 wins from 14 starts with a plus 182% ROI. Them Imply only has 2 fulls to race, but they're winning at 38% and 63% in the money, combined 8 starts. Simply Joking is the best late pace rating in here with a 104.5, best average class with an 87, best average speed of a 92. 3-1 for the only horse in here is won a stakes race. I think is pretty good. I mean, but we'll see.
The horse that finished third to the Chasen horse I like, that Sycamore Shoals horse, came back and finished 4th in that Letelier Stakes to Simply Joking as well. So a little bit of common horse competition there if you look at it. So
there you go.
I think it's the other one in here to look at from Chasen is definitely the Simply Joking horse. And, D. Whitworth is hitting on all cylinders too. So interesting little horse to look at for sure.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. Kenny McPeak has 3 in here. We barely mentioned any of them. And then he's got 2 in LeComte as well.
Yeah.
So he's really going for it. I know business is booming for him since his much success from last year. But anyway, let's move on to the Grade 3 LeComte Stakes at Fairgrounds on Saturday. By the way, this is Equibase's featured race of the week, so you get free premium pass performances, selections, flashnet, speed and egress, and more. So the Grade 3 LeComte, mile and a 16th on the dirt for 3-year-olds. Rode to the Kentucky Derby race with 20 points awarded to the winner. Last year's winner was Track Phantom for trainer Steve Asmussen with Joel Rosario aboard. Track Phantom went on to run 11th in the Kentucky Derby. And he's actually entered in the Grade 3 Louisiana Stakes on Saturday in the race prior to this. So some stat lines for you. Since 1991, 33 horses who ran in the LeComte Stakes ran in the Kentucky Derby that same year. Only 2 Kentucky Derby winners have come out of the LeComte, those being War Emblem 2002 and Mandaloon in 2021. And only 5 of those 33 horses finished in the money in the Derby, which I thought was kind of interesting. So yep. I guess we still got some of the bigger preps to come. This kind of reminds me, a little bit, I was going to say untappable, but that was more Silverbulletday. But anyway, who's your playing here?
Well, again, I think this goes back to my last time I was on the podcast before the holiday break when I picked both number 1s. Now I started out today with a number 1, and now I'm going to go my 4th straight number 1 selection with the coach on the rail with Innovator at 10-1. A really interesting horse to me. And I know we talked a bit before the pod that you've got some thoughts on this, so I can't wait to have this conversation. But I really went back and forth between Innovator and Disco Time, and I ended up on the rail horse. And there's a couple of things in here. One, Look, Coach runs his horses quite a bit. Like there's, it's the only horse in here with 7 starts.
Yeah, it's January of his 3-year-old season.
This horse has been running forever, right? But okay, it's just a little history on the LeComte with Dwayne Lucas. He's 2 for 5 in the LeComte Stakes lifetime, winning with Oxbow in 2013 and Western City in 1998. Has done this before. He's got a horse that was a $900,000 Keeneland September yearling purchase, so must look pretty solid and kind of well meant there. The post 1 doesn't affect me whatsoever. Again, it's if it's a sealed track, this horse has got speed. This horse might like it. This horse has muddy. It won his last race in the mud, so it shouldn't affect this horse at all. Might even move the horse up a bit. Out of an embridled song there. And post 1 has the most wins, 8, and the highest winning percentage, 24% since 1991 in this race. So he has faced the best competition of any of these runners, and that's really why I went to this horse. If you look at his running lines, I mean, there's a couple horses, including the one that you're just must scream in your face with the Chancellor McPatrick horse in there. But look, if you go back, he's lost to Owen Almighty, Sandman, Aviator Gooey, who just won a stakes race, Chancellor McPatrick, Ferocious, Kale's Angel. That's the who's who of the crop so far. And of course,
Barnes,
where I'm going. And of course,
what a race that was.
Gave the current Kentucky Derby pool favorite Barnes all he could handle before losing by a head last November at Churchill. So if you look at those running lines, nobody else can even come close to the running lines this horse has run against, right? That's incredible. Then let's talk about the performance. That 101 in his last race, how impressive was that for a 3-year-old at this time of year?
Highest in this race as well.
By far, ran that 101 in his last race. Only 6 winners since 1991 have run a 101 Equibase speed figure or better prior to running in the LeComte, and only 1 since 2005 in Still Regard in 2018. Only 9 starters have ever run a 101 or faster in a maiden race prior to running in the LeComte. Innovator will be the 10th. So that's rare air. That this horse has run with the numbers and the figures. Never run farther than 7 furlongs, and of course that's a little bit scary in his 7 career races, but the coach has done it before when he won with Western City, won it in 1998, having run 5 times prior to winning that race and never passed 7 furlongs until that day. Obviously, I think the rail, his speed should get the lead, and maybe on that sealed track could be the place to be. We'll watch the early part of the card and find out. But Jamie Torres, best winning percentage at Fairgrounds over the last 10 days, winning 5 of 11, 45%. And the only knock here is Lucas hasn't started a horse at Fairgrounds in nearly 7 years, but has done it before.
That's almost a better sign. I'd say.
Interesting move.
He really, chose this race instead of staying out there at Oaklawn. Interesting. Well, I wholeheartedly disagree with your pick. Okay, and I don't think this horse will ever win at more than 6.5. I'm just going to say that. Okay, I think he's a very talented horse. I think he's a talented sprinter, and the fact that he lost a head by Barnes, is very impressive, as we saw Barnes last time out. But to me, he's just a true sprinter on the front, has to be close to the pace. I just don't see it. I love the coach, but also at the same time, I think that's a lot of races for that young of a horse. So I don't know. I find the reason, Brad Cox and Chad Brown are so successful this time of year, they only have 1 or 2 races under their belt with these 2 3-year-olds, so I think that's an advantage. So I'm going to go against Innovator. I'm going to go with the number 13 here, kind of a bad post, but built morning line of 3-1 for Wayne, Mr. Catalano, with Jared Loveberry aboard, cold by Hardspun, who won this race in 2007 before finishing second in the Kentucky Derby, coming off a really, really impressive win in that Gunrunner Stakes at Fairgrounds back on December 21st, winning by 6 3/4 lengths, running a career best 95 Equibase speed figure. Last year's LeComte winner, Track Phantom, also won the Gunrunner Stakes prior to the LeComte, but Built definitely taken after his dad and his running style. Remember when Hardspun almost wired the entire field in Derby 2007. But Built won gate to wire in the Gunrunner. Had a really easy lead of fractions 24-6, 49-2. However, that 2-1 shot, Magnitude, who finished second in the Gunrunner and is number 5 in here today, was with Built that whole time, and Built just took him away in that stretch run. Placed third through DQ in his career debut at Ellis Park in August, where he lost to East Avenue, who won the Grade 1 Breeders' Futurity at Keeneland next time out. Built came back to win next time out in 100,000 maiden special weight at Keeneland on October 6th in a very competitive field. And second place finisher Rendered Judgment came back to win in his next start and then lost to Built again in the Gun Runner. Earned an 88 ESF in that maiden win. And he's coming in this race with 3 increasing equibase speed figures, a 69, an 88, and a 95. Jareth Loveberry, who was bored for the Gun Runner Stakes, is back in the saddle Saturday. Kennelow and Loveberry winning at 26% together in dirt routes in the last 5 years. 11 wins from 42 starts and 57% in the money. 1 for 1 at this distance, 1 for 1 at fairgrounds. 3-1 to me is honestly, I'll take that all day. But I also had, some reservations with Disco Time, that number 11, undefeated, not this time, colt for the Bradcocks. Barn would float the jock aboard, won in career debut at 100K maiden special weight at Churchill by 3 3/4 lengths, running 89 first time out. Won an AOC other than 100,000 by 3.5 lengths last time out, running a 96 equibase speed figure going a mile on the dirt. And like I said, Brad Cox and Flo the Chalk winning at 40% all time, or the last 3 years at Fairgrounds. So best average speed in here as well with a 93 and best average class with a 90. That was kind of a hard horse to not put on top, but I'm going to go with the number 13 Built. So.
Well, I'm not going to argue with you. I mean, the horse looks like he's well meant. Obviously, the stats all kind of portend to a good performance by Built. I think that I looked at this and said, okay, let's just figure out how the pace scenario might turn out. Let's see where the value might be, because I think between Built and Disco Time, they're going to take a lot of the play in here. I think that Built probably, again, at 3-1, you'll be lucky to get that. But at this time of year, everything is in such flux that I decided to go for a price on the rail and then box it with Disco Time underneath. And we'll see how that runs, how that plays. You mentioned McPeak before. Just an interesting stat line. He's got another horse in here, but he's over 18 in stakes races at Fairgrounds the last year. So maybe time to turn it around. Who knows? But we'll see how that runs.
He's due.
He is definitely due. Your Disco Time conversation. You gonna throw him in, or what? Is that your second choice? Where?
It's my second choice. I obviously gonna throw him in for some exotics. I'll do a win bet on Built if he's over 5-2. Anything below that, I don't think I'll do. But it'll definitely be very interesting how this pace scenario goes. I think Torres is going to go on Innovator, I would say. And I would also probably say that Built is going to go, and maybe Disco Time. So it could set for a very hot pace, but we'll see.
Yeah, where have we seen Lucas and Torres go to the front before? With a horse that people thought was a sprinter.
Yeah, I think he was gray.
Yeah, exactly.
I think so. Yeah, it kind of rings a bell.
Yeah. Okay. So let's go see history repeat itself on this one. But
I would love Torres to have another Seize the Gray. I would absolutely love that for the sport. So I am rooting for you, but
you got
statistically wise, I'm going for Built.
I hear you, but we'll see. Look, I'm going to watch that racetrack early in the day and see how it plays, and then I may adjust. And the rail may not be the place to be, but we'll see we'll see how it plays.
Maybe, but shaping up to be a fantastic race regardless, with 20 points on the line. So a lot of Derby changes coming up this weekend. But anyway, last but not least is the Busanda Stakes at Aqueduct. Mile and the 8th on the dirt for 3-year-old fillies. Another Road to Kentucky Oaks race with 20 points to the winner. Last year's winner was Gin for Brad Cox with Trevor McCarthy aboard. Gin finished 12th in the Kentucky Oaks and has yet to run back since. Interesting field of 9 here. I have a top play I absolutely love, and we'll show that race replay later. But who are you going with for the Busanda?
Yeah, this is pretty obvious for me, unfortunately. I don't think it's the toughest bunch in here. I'm not sure this is a ton of horses to follow in here, but we'll see. I mean, you never know, right? And in that case, I went with the horse on the outside, the Wesley Ward horse running away. Look, again, has the best career equibase speed figure, 3 consecutive increasing figures, looks like got speed to sit where she wants, but gun runner, out of an unbridled song mare. I'd say well-bred for the distance, has run all 3 career races at a route of ground, should handle the mile and an 8 just fine. Wesley Ward's 2 for 2, 100% over the last 10 days in all of his runners across the country. So got horses that are just firing everywhere. This horse, put in a blistering 59-4 workout over that Keeneland surface on December 27th. And then watched the next week, just walked home in a 104.2. So it didn't really need to do much more after that previous week's work, right? So this horse is ready to go, probably on her toes. some more award numbers, 7 for 21, 33% over the past year when moving a horse up to a stakes race. That last one, a maiden special weight race. So can get it done directly out of a maiden win. Award is 32% repeating winners. Put together best race last out, should take another step forward in here. I've got one note that I took that I said, okay, look, if it's off track, if it's sloppy, if there's a lot of wetness on the track, I think that horse that might favor Sharp Smile on the rail might have to give the one a look with Cox and Franco.
you and these ones.
Well, I'm telling you, it's the only horse in there that's got a real sloppy track experience, winning last out in the mud. So you got to just watch the weather and watch the track. I mean, it does change the handicapping quite a bit. And those that play their race, put their win wagers down before they see the race conditions are just, they're risking more than they should. So watch the weather.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. That's very astute. I love that. Glad you brought that up. Yeah, obviously that running away horse, it looks, really, really good. I mean, switches to dirt for the first time, romps by 5 lengths. Wesley Ward making his first start of the Aqueduct meet with Savici aboard. All time, they only have 1 start together, ever. They were out of the money in that one, but over the last 3 years, Wesley Ward's winning at 28% in the dirt at Aqueduct, 8 wins from 29 starts, so he ships in well. Best middle pace rating in here of an 81.5, best late pace rating of an 86.5, second in average class and first in average speed with an 81. And that Alez Marie dam, by the way, that running away is out of. She has 7 foals to race. All of them are winners, 19 wins from 93 starts, and they win at 30% in dirt routes. Yeah. So just more to tack on to running bees.
Didn't she do her running in South America most of the time, I think?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I don't look too much into her, but I looked into her progeny. But
I looked into her a bit, but it's they're mostly South American. So I think you have an interesting play in here.
I need to pull this up right now.
Yeah, that is a must-watch replay, and
this is a must-watch replay.
Those of you listening to this on a audio only are going to miss the Ben Kudla play of the year coming up on this replay.
I don't know if it's play of the year, but I really like this filly quite a bit. But anyway, it's the number 3 in here is Ramify. She's number 6 in here at their debut at Aqueduct. But I would suspect running away will take a majority of the money. So Ramify might get a decent morning line here. So 3-year-old filly by Munnings running as a homebred for Juddmonte for the Chad Brown barn. But anyway, so let's look at the start. Okay, so she's the number 6 in here on the outside. All right, she actually gets not a very bad break. I mean, right there, I mean, holding to him, on the outside of the 5, and you'll just see she just goes really green and she'll just drop back like crazy. So we can skip through a little bit of this, but look at where she is at this point in the race. Dead last by 13 lengths, and she'll stay this way pretty much to the final turn, but she kind of gains a little bit momentum going up. But really, I don't know, I'm sure many of you out there have seen the movie Seabiscuit, but when Tobey Maguire is like 85 lengths from the lead, on the backside, and he goes, "Come on, Pops," and then he just like flies and wins the race. Well, this is exactly what happened here with Ramify. So you're going to start to see her moving up a bit, moving up, and those Juddmonte silks will kind of skip around. Now she's still last, still green. Where is she going?
No shot from there, man.
No shot. And then all of a sudden, she just figures it out. I mean, in just a length of a race, she just figures it out. And that My Sharana was a 3 to 4 favorite in there. She's also I believe the 7 in here. But yeah, just takes it to her. I mean, I was just so thoroughly impressed by that. I mean, the amount of class that showed. That's a straight win bet. I'm really hoping for a little bit of a price, but anyway, so earned a 78 Equibase speed figure for that effort, but that does not do it justice on paper. I think Chad Brown put her in a perfect spot in here. Only one of the 9 entries have ever won a stakes race before, and that being Beautiful Bloom, who won a listed stakes at Delaware Park in October. The past year, Chad Brown wins at 31% and 65% of the money in non-graded stakes races at Aqueduct, 30 wins from 98 starts and 64 of the money. And since 1991, Chad Brown wins at 22%, 61 of 282, and 58% of the money, with horses moving from maiden special weight races to stakes races. You can find that on stat lines. That's more of the Permana shift tool. But anyway.
Well, I mean, look, Ramify's got recency over the track that, the running away horse has never been on this surface. So, that may be a factor as well. So likes the track, understands the track, knows the conditions. So let's go with Ramify for you, and maybe can turn the tables. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. But it was honestly, I had so much fun handicapping all three of these races. And here we are, the Derby Trail, and with the best is yet to come. It's so exciting.
I love it. And everybody will get super excited about what comes out of the LeComte. And then you'll have to see, it'll all change in the next race. That's why this horse racing is such a wonderful thing. Every week there is somebody new that you have to take into account, that you just look at past performance and say, well, there's not much there, but now all of a sudden that's the top of the Derby Trail list. And I just think it's a fascinating game to watch. And I love it you love it when you're right, and you get right back and handicap again and do the prep work when you're wrong. So it's fun every week.
It really is my favorite thing to do in the world. So I know it
should be. Better be.
Yeah, I did make it my career. So, but anyway, thank you everybody so much for watching. Good luck this weekend, and we'll see you next week.